Hi everybody, this is Heather. Today I want to show you how to make your own homemade mustard. One day the reason I decided to make my own was I was trying to save money first of all, but second I was out and thought, oh, you know, let me get online and see if I can find a recipe to make my own mustard from scratch. And it turns out I did have the ingredients to do it. It was pretty cheap. In fact, I think a bottle of like this costs about, I don't know, over $1, maybe close to $2. Depends on what size you get. I made it for 14 cents, roughly. So, and then when I started looking at the ingredients on here, I basically went to the ingredients that were on the back of the bottle and realized that they didn't tell me about a couple of ingredients as I went to do them. Let me go ahead and show you. You'll see vinegar, distilled water. Let's see if you can you focus in? No? Okay. It says distilled vinegar, mustard seed, salt, turmeric, paprika, spice is what they titled it. Natural flavors. Always watch out for things that say natural flavors or artificial flavors, and garlic powder is what it said on here. Natural flavors and artificial flavoring is where they take that opportunity to hide stuff in your food. Stuff that's bad for you, things like MSG, things that cause a lot of your health problems that you could be having. People forget that if they're having health problems, they always run to the doctor, which, don't get me wrong, I think doctors have their own place. And I'm not a doctor myself, so I'm not trying to give medical advice, but I think it's smart to think, if you go take your car to a gas station and you get bad gas and it's got water in it, and your car starts acting up, probably one of the first things the mechanic's going to say when you tell them what you did is they're going to say, well, where did you go and what did you put in it? So it's the same thing for your body. If your body is malfunctioning, it's not supposed to. It's created by God to work perfectly. So if you're sick, I mean, we don't live in a perfect world, but what are you putting in your body? What are you eating? What are you drinking? So what are you putting on your body? It's important to know what's in your stuff and what's in your food. So you need to become avid food label readers. Anyway, so let's get to the mustard itself. The ingredients that you're going to need is what my recipe is, and this is just a small recipe that fills this up. It's about, well, it makes this much. You're going to need half of a cup of white vinegar. That's what I have here. You're going to need 3/4 of a cup of distilled water. I use distilled water, do not use tap water. Tap water has, distilled water is still probably not the best, but tap water has all kinds of parasites and disgusting stuff that's not filtered out. You don't want that, first of all, in your mustard. Second, you don't want that sitting up in your food as a food product for a while. There goes the mystery man moving the... Yeah, it didn't magically float. My husband moved it. You're going to need, okay, half of a cup of white vinegar, 3/4 of a cup of distilled water, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic mustard seed, 3 teaspoons of turmeric, and I'll tell you why in a minute, and 3 tablespoons of flour. I use wheat flour. So I'll go ahead and write the ingredients out at the bottom of the video. You'll see right below. I'll have them listed so you can see the recipe. But so what I've done is I go to, and I advertise for these people, and I think they should pay me one day because I send so many people to them. I go to a local grocery store that we have called H-E-B. It's down in Texas and Mexico areas, and they have these places where you can buy spices and different foods bulk, so you can buy the scoop. I love that because I get to choose how much it is that I get, and I'm not having to buy some big thing for maybe a teaspoon of product. So I left this in here to show y'all. I just bought paprika today for this recipe to finish for you. But you can go and scoop, just a little bitty scoop, and it only costs 29 cents for this much. So anyhow, let me get started. Here's going to be my pan. Just get a regular pan. I use stainless steel. I find that best, but that's for me. I go ahead and put the white vinegar, distilled white vinegar in there. That's actually key for your mustard taste. Then add the water. Then I take half of a teaspoon of mustard seed. This stuff is extremely potent and very strong, so you really don't need that much. Garlic. I put 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay, turmeric. I put 3. The reason why you use turmeric, it has a little bit of flavoring that it adds, but most people, because we're sight-oriented, if you've ever noticed that McDonald's, the colors for McDonald's are yellow and red. Companies like to use, and Burger King, they use orange and yellow. We're color-oriented. So if something's green, people generally don't want to eat it, even though it's still good for you. Green things, there's lots of green things that are good for you, but anyhow, they don't like to. Oh, you need salt. I don't know if I wrote that down. I didn't. You need about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. That's half. I only need 1/4. Sea salt. Also, you don't have to use, I'm sure that there might be some kind of organic brand, but I'm into bargain shopping. It doesn't have to be everything organic. Not everything that's titled organic is really truly organic. But I get the natural sea salt. I don't get the iodinized or whatever that is that they call that. That's not good for you. Anyhow, so what I do, if you have a whisk it up. I turn the heat up to medium to high heat. And I just kind of whisk it up to where you get, let me see, did I get everything in there? We're going to do the flour last. I whisk it up till you get all of your powder ingredients. Can you bring it so they can see? All of your powder ingredients aren't showing anymore. Just keep whisking it. And I wait till I taste it. I do like the finger taste. So you can kind of see if it tastes about like your consistency or the flavor that you like. Some people like theirs spicier. If you like it spicier, add just a little bit more mustard. If you like it a little bit more twangier, add just a little bit more vinegar. I put 3 tablespoons of whole wheat flour in there. Now if you use regular flour, just use caution. Just kind of add a little at a time, because regular flour is a little bit different than whole wheat flour. I think whole wheat flour works a little better. So whisk all of that in there. I'm going to put 1 more to make 3. And then whisk it up. The reason why you add the flour is to make it thicken. Some people use cornstarch. Cornstarch has some harmful ingredients in it. I don't like to use it just because I think it's chemically made and I don't trust it. The reason why I found out that on here that they used, they added other stuff in here is because I put everything in here that they had listed other than natural flavors and spices. And they didn't say anything about flour, but you need to put something in it to make it thicker. Otherwise, when you go to dump it out of here, it's going to everywhere. So that's when I found out that they were hiding stuff. So my poor family, now I make all of our own condiments. I make our own mayonnaise, our own mustard, and I talked about making our own ketchup. My husband kind of frowned, but anyway, so that's how you make your own mustard. Basically, you just whisk it up, let it sit for a little while. When it cools, it'll thicken up. Make sure it's really good mixed, and this is what you get, homemade mustard.